thinking about B minor, maybe B minor's here, maybe B minor's here. I know I've got a B minor sitting right up here, which I can't really play in one sitting, but that whole is sitting right there, okay? And then I got B minor up here. And then when the E minor shows up, then I'm thinking E minor, I'm getting E minor here, E minor here, okay? E minor's all up right here. I've got E minor sitting right there as well, okay? So there's lots of different places I can go. So as I visualize those E minors, what I'm seeing is what we call the caged chord system, C-A-G-E-D, okay? And again, this isn't a course on the caged, so I'm not just going to go into great detail on the caged, but basically the point is I'm trying to see my chords in as many places as I can relative to the scale positions that I'm familiar with, because they're going to overlap, you see? So as I'm playing, I have all of these different options of visual tools that I can use. When the E minor comes up, I might just be seeing the E minor pentatonic in this position. Right? Or I might have to go up here to see E minor pentatonic. I mean, that's all entirely up to you. But I also have, whatever E minor stuff. I might have E natural minor, which I'm certainly using, sitting right there as well, okay? So I have some of those things at my disposal. And then I have the arpeggio that I'm seeing, the E minor arpeggio, maybe even E minor 7. Depending on what I want to visualize there. So as I'm playing, maybe I outline that arpeggio a little bit as opposed to just playing the notes of the scale up. Which sounds fine too, but if I went, that might be really pretty over that E minor. Or if I add the 7th in. And again, I might do some of that and then drop into that right there, okay? So I'm combining elements of scale visualization with chord visualization, and what I'm really trying to do here is make a connection to the chords. Now, if you know your theory, when I'm playing minor blues, I really, really, really want to connect. The root is always a great one to connect to. If I'm playing in B minor, I go to B. If it goes to the E chord, I can go to E. If it goes to the F sharp, I can go to the note F sharp. That's a given. That's a great one. And it's important to understand that, because if you're not doing any element of that, that's something that's going to be lacking in your playing. Yes, we want to, change scales or whatever it might be that we're doing, but we want to give our solo a melodic connection or a melodic direction, especially when you're dealing with minor blues, because minor blues is so melodic. So we need to make a connection in some capacity. That doesn't mean that every time there's a chord change, I have to go to the root. Or every time there's a chord change, I have to do an arpeggio or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I just want you to understand that these are options that are available to you. If you're never making a connection, let's say you're playing over this and every single time you play something on the guitar, you're going to the note B. Needless to say, after a while, that's going to get old. Now, your other option would be to go to everything, right? Let's say you don't define certain pitches to try and emphasize, right? So you're just emphasizing anything and everything at whenever you go to something. You just, You know what I mean? And the problem with that is that it might work sometimes, but sometimes it's not going to work. And for a trained ear, it just sounds like you're going all over the place. Now, we do go all over the place. That's what meandering is. But the more we start giving it a direction, the point of this conversation is we're starting to think about how we're going to approach. We talked about an analyzing the situation, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to try and make a connection with the tools that we have, right? That's what we have to do. So what's happening here is I'm thinking about this chord progression and I start deciding the scale choices, all these different things that we've already talked about. but I start giving my solo a direction by trying to target certain pitches at certain times. And again, I don't have to do that all the time. But if I start this all over again and play just really slow, because again, I'm not in any hurry. I'm thinking about ebb and flow. I'm trying to build this a little bit.